Hello, my name is Thayan and I like to experiment with all kinds of AI technologies, but mostly image generation and visual exploration with Midjourney. Currently we are still going with Midjourney's version 5.2. Even though we got a new in-painting feature called Vary Region this week, we did not get an update to the aesthetics that I have been anticipating even more. I did contemplate making a video about in-painting, but ended up not doing that because it is not a feature that I personally would use in my workflow in the near future. As I am not about creating intricate art pieces with AI to sell or do other things with, I rarely use the Vary options or other tools to change the results I get with just the prompt. And I did not really have anything extra to contribute that hasn't already been covered by so many other awesome YouTube creators. But in this video I wanted to do my own thing and explore some patterns, and an older feature called -- tile, which makes your images look like seamless patterns. So I went and tested out some patterns, first with the -- tile that makes the images look completely different. And then I tried to apply the patterns to some other contexts and see what comes up. Mainly I selected the words rose, ship and garden to combine with the patterns. The goal or wish was to see those patterns applied to the objects or environments, but the results kind of varied and did not always work in the way I expected, so it may be needed to play around with the stylize or raw or weird settings. Anyway, here are the results that I got and selected. The criteria for selecting the patterns for this video was that either the pattern looked very good with the tile, it was applied well to the objects or environments, or I just liked the way the images ended up looking like even if the pattern didn't really apply. So here they are. Abstract floral. Patterns inspired by flowers and vegetation in an abstract style. Looks better than just abstract or just floral by themselves. Tile looks great and so do all the other reference images. Acid wash. Patterns imitating the washed and worn appearance of acid-washed fabric. Nice, different grungy look for reference images and for tile as well. Bamboo weave. Patterns imitating the texture of woven bamboo. Okay as a tile, but I really like the weaved ships and the structures in the garden images. Barbed wire. Patterns resembling the angular and pointed appearance of barbed wire. Tile looks okay, nothing fantastic, but I like the reference images, kind of depressing. I like that the roses are photorealistic, because such a concept is often pictured on tattoos. Barcode scanlines. Vertical lines resembling the scanlines of a barcode. Really interesting tiles and also really interesting and different looking effect for roses and ships. Batik. Hand-dyed fabric with intricate patterns created using wax-resist dyeing. Lovely colors for tile, somewhat grungy and muted for reference images. Block print. Patterns created using block printing techniques. Very nice contrast and strong lines and edges. Brick wall. Patterns imitating the arrangement of bricks in a wall. Not an unexpected look. Tile looks like it should, but reference images have some cool merging effect where roses and ships and plants are kind of embedded into the brick wall. Brocade. Richly textured fabric patterns often featuring raised designs. Really pretty tiles. Rose looks pretty too, but ships and gardens seem to be doing their own thing. Celtic Knot. Intricate patterns inspired by the interlocking designs of Celtic knots. A really traditional pattern, looks nice with the roses and gardens. Ships just look a bit more green. Chain link. Repeating patterns resembling interlocking chain links. Chains and linked chain fences, certainly an acquired taste. Checkered. Squares of alternating colors forming a checkerboard pattern. I like that the roses are checkered here. So many patterns seem to be actually appearing as checkered even though they're not. Chevron. A V-shaped pattern formed by repeated inverted V's. Tile looks pretty ordinary, but I like the effect on the roses and gardens, sort of a maze there. Chinoiserie. Patterns inspired by Chinese art and design motifs. Really pretty and delicate, the Chinese origin looks pretty apparent. Chintz, colorful and floral patterns often used in textiles and interior design. Pretty flowers all around. I like that this makes the images look slightly different. Circuit board, complex patterns resembling electronic circuitry and components. Really interesting look for the tile, but rose and garden get a really interesting effect as well from this. Coral reef, intricate and vibrant patterns resembling the shapes and colors of coral reefs. There is corals, there is color and lots of pink. Cross-stitch, patterns created using cross-stitch embroidery techniques. I like the cross-stitched effect that this brings to the images. Obviously it's not referencing to the pattern with non-tile, but just the method of achieving this look. Crystal cluster, patterns inspired by the geometric arrangement of crystal formations. I know it's more like a material, but I do like the look of the tiles and also the look of all the other subjects too, kind of fragile and almost like made of glass. Damask, elaborate design often featuring floral motifs and contrasting matte and glossy areas. Reminds me of a wallpaper in my great-grandparents' house, so kind of an old-fashioned look. Denim wash, patterns resembling the faded and worn texture of denim. Nice blue coloring for both tile and reference images, some texture too. Garden looks quite literal. Diamond plate, patterns imitating the textured and angular appearance of diamond plate metal. Interesting looking industrial tile, roses look really nice with this pattern, garden has some interesting shapes too. Digital code, binary and matrix-like patterns resembling computer code. Really nice effect on the tile, somewhat appearing on the other subjects, but could be stronger. Dobby, patterns created using a Dobby loom, resulting in small geometric designs. Not what it's supposed to be, but really funny nevertheless. Feather, patterns inspired by the delicate and flowing structure of feathers. Lovely combination for roses especially, and I really like the tiles too. Filigree, delicate and ornate patterns resembling fine wirework or lace. Very lovely look for tile, but reference images have also a really interesting and intricate look. Some of the ships look kind of weird though, and garden is not really a garden. Firework, bursting and radiant patterns reminiscent of exploding fireworks. I like the tiles and the reference images are really transformed, the lighting is awesome and the fireworks effect makes some nice pictures. Fish scale, patterns resembling the scales of a fish. Very nice look for the tile, but it's also present in the roses and garden. The ships look kind of strange amalgamations between fish and ships. Forest camouflage, camouflage patterns designed to blend into woodland environments. I selected this out of all of the camouflage patterns I tested out. I like the green and the way the roses are green as well, and the ships are on land. Fractal, intricate and self-replicating patterns created through mathematical algorithms. Really pretty tiles, the colors are kind of transferred over a little bit, but I guess the roses look the best out of these. Galaxy, patterns inspired by the swirling and colorful formations of galaxies in space. Tiles look nice, but this really gives an awesome look to all the reference images. The ships and roses look especially beautiful to me. Geode, patterns inspired by the intricate and colorful formations found in geodes. Interesting and colorful tiles, but roses and ships look really cool too. Not really a pattern, but I like them. Geometric fractals, intricate patterns formed by repeating geometric shapes in fractal arrangements. Lovely and colorful tiles, but the colors are also applied to roses and ships. Gardens look basically like a maze. Geometric tessellation, patterns formed by interlocking geometric shapes without gaps or overlaps. The tiles look okay, but I like the effect of this on all the other subjects. They look different and have kind of an angled look. Glass tile, mosaic-like patterns resembling the appearance of glass tiles. Pretty tiles, absolutely love the stained glass feel of the garden images. Graffiti, patterns replicating the urban and colorful style of graffiti art. Tiles look so very colorful. Reference images look a bit more grungy, but I really like the way this makes the roses look. Grunge, distressed and worn patterns with a gritty and aged appearance. Obviously a very grungy look for reference images, but the tiles also get quite a nice abstract look for them. Hexagon, repeated hexagonal shapes forming a pattern. Tiles look nice, the effect seems to look best on landscapes, the ships look kind of strange. Houndstooth, distinctive broken checkered pattern with pointed shapes. For once a pattern that is really applied to the reference images. Okay, sometimes it looks like any other pattern except what it's supposed to be, but the red, black and white colors are present. Icat, irregularly dyed threads woven into intricate patterns. The tile has a nice and contrasted look. It is not exactly translated to the objects, but many of them look like patterns of their own just mixed in with this. Ink blot, patterns resembling the unpredictable and organic shapes of ink blots. Lovely as a tile and really lovely look for everything else too, kind of removes the background and makes the image subjects stand on their own. Inlay, patterns created by embedding one material into another to form decorative designs. Obviously very differing look between the tile and all the other subjects, but overall I like the outcomes. Interstellar, patterns inspired by the mysteries and beauty of interstellar space. I like the space Y look, not as cool as Galaxy, but nice lighting. Ivy vines, twisting and winding patterns inspired by the growth of ivy vines. Really lovely and green both for the tile and reference images. Kente, bold and colorful African textile patterns often associated with Ghana. Nice and colorful, looks like African in origin in my opinion. Labyrinth, intricate and winding patterns resembling a maze or labyrinth. Interesting and intricate look for the tiles, roses and gardens. Ships seem to have skipped that entirely. Lace, delicate patterns of openwork fabric with intricate holes and designs. Very intricate and delicate look for the tile and the reference images too. Lava cracks, patterns resembling the intricate cracks and textures of cooled lava formations. Very hot look, roses look awesome, I really like the tiles, gardens and ships look kind of burnt though. Leafy, patterns featuring leaf motifs, often in various sizes and shapes. Very pretty, green and summery, I like how the ship sails are made of leaves. Marble, swirling, natural stone-like pattern with organic lines and colors. Nice tile, but it seems that on other subjects seems to invoke the material more than the pattern. Marbled, swirling and fluid patterns with a marbled appearance. Similar to marble, but this time has the pattern instead of just the material marble, very strong colors. Marquetry, patterns formed by inlaying different types of wood to create intricate designs. Kind of a wooden pattern, but really nice and intricate. Tiles look different, but I guess there are some similarities in one of the garden images. Maze, intricate, puzzle-like pattern with winding paths. Looks just like it's supposed to, kind of overpowers the ships there. Microscopic cells, patterns replicating the cellular structures and arrangements visible under a microscope. Really interesting and strange-looking things, kind of overpowers the subjects, making them mostly unrecognizable. Moire, wavy, rippling pattern formed by intersecting lines or textures. Really hypnotic tiles, I like the look of the roses, but otherwise I guess the effect could be stronger. Moroccan tiles, intricate geometric patterns inspired by Moroccan tile designs. A very recognizable and famous style of patterns. Mosaic, small colored pieces arranged in a larger pattern or image. Another style I have probably featured before as well, but it looks great as a pattern and really gives the images a different look. Neon lights, bright and vivid patterns replicating the glow of neon lights. Very lovely and awesome look for both the tile and all of the other subjects too. I really like the roses especially. Paint splatter, random and abstract patterns inspired by paint splatters. Something I have probably featured before as well, but this looks really cool as a tile or pattern too. Paisley, curved teardrop or droplet shapes intricately arranged. I really like the swirly flower look of these. The ships don't look very strongly to be in this style, but roses and garden images look awesome. Peacock feather, intricate patterns inspired by the iridescent feathers of peacocks. Very strongly different from just peacock. I really like the tiles and the way that one of the roses is intermingled with the feather and also the ship sails that are made of peacock feathers. Pin dot, small, evenly spaced dots forming a subtle pattern. More dots, this time really tiny dots. Pineapple skin, textured patterns resembling the rough and spiky texture of pineapple skin. The tiles look cool, but the reference subjects have some hilarious and cool looks to them. I really like the pineapple roses. The ships are totally weird and gardens seem to have some pineapple people living there. Plaid, a pattern consisting of intersecting horizontal and vertical bands of color. A really traditional pattern, somewhat applied to all the subjects. Plaster texture, patterns replicating the texture of plastered surfaces. Kind of bland as a tile, but I really like the textures. I guess this should belong to a previous video I made, but it looks so cool, so here it is now. Polka dots, circular or rounded motifs evenly spaced across a surface. Lots of dots obviously. I really like the effect on the roses here, they are actually patterned, and ships and gardens get an awesome whimsical look. Prince of Wales check. Classic checked pattern featuring subtle diagonal lines. I like the patterns on the tiles, and I like how they appear on basically all the roses too. Psychedelic, vibrant and surreal patterns reminiscent of psychedelic art. Another style that I really like because of the colors and flowiness, and you have probably seen this in some of my previous videos, but this looks great as a tile too. Rattan weave. Woven patterns inspired by rattan material. Tiles look okay. I really like the effect on the roses and the pinkness. The garden chairs look really nice and comfortable. Reticulated, grid-like patterns resembling a network or lattice. Very interesting look for the tile. Ships kind of ignore it completely, but you can somewhat see it in the rose and garden images. Ripples. Patterns resembling concentric circles or water ripples. Very blue and wavy effect as a tile. I really like the way the gardens look. They're almost like geometric with the ripples there. Road map. Linear and directional patterns resembling a road map or highway map. For tiles, this seems to do a similar pattern usually found on the carpets of kids' rooms. Other subjects sometimes seem to get some winding pathways. Ruched, gathered or pleated fabric forming a textured pattern. I really like the effect on the roses, and I also like that the gardens have been transformed into green dresses, very unexpected. Satellite map, geometric patterns inspired by the arrangement of land masses on satellite maps. Mostly I like the tile. The other subjects definitely look different, but not always very beautiful. Scribble. Irregular, playful patterns resembling doodles or scribbles. Lovely look for the tile, so colorful, and reference images get a nice chaotic and drawn look for them. Scrollwork, intricate, swirling designs resembling curled paper scrolls. Really beautiful and elegant look for both tile and all the other subjects. I especially like the roses. Seashells. Patterns inspired by the intricate shapes and textures of seashells. Lovely whimsical sea-themed tile. and I like that this uses the shells as a material for the other objects. Pastel colors fit it very well too. Shibari, Japanese tie-dyeing technique resulting in unique and irregular patterns. Very delicate look for things, not as colorful as regular tie-dye. I do like the blue color on the tile. Snakeskin, patterns replicating the scaly and distinctive appearance of snakeskin. Snakes in the garden and around ships, but at least one of the roses looks like it's actually made out of snakeskin, so it may not work all the time and for all subjects, but sometimes. Snowflakes, intricate patterns inspired by the unique and delicate structure of snowflakes. Cute Christmas-themed pattern for tiles, but a nice blue and frosty look otherwise. Space nebula, imaginative patterns inspired by colorful and cosmic space nebulas. Similar to galaxy, but kind of more gassy look. I really like the lighting and the roses also look spectacular. There seems to be a tattoo image in the same spot as galaxy, so yes, very similar. Spatter, random and irregular patterns created through splattering or spattering. Lovely and colorful abstract splattered look for the tile. Other subjects are kind of chaotic and grungy, which I was not expecting. Starburst, radiating lines or shapes bursting out from a central point. Really colorful for some reason, but pretty. Stippled, small dots or points forming texture or shading. Very interesting look for the tile, but kind of sketched look for all the other subjects. Stripes, linear bands of color or texture that repeat horizontally or vertically. Very basic pattern, but it is kind of applied to all of the subjects. Stucco, patterns replicating the textured appearance of stuccoed surfaces. Again lovely as a texture or material, but looks very pretty as a tile too. Sunburst, radiating lines or shapes resembling the sun's rays. Cute tile pattern, but it really changes the colors and lighting for all of the other subjects. Tiger stripes, patterns resembling the stripes of a tiger. This is one of the better animal patterns that I tried out. It's actually applied quite well to the roses, but again not so well on the ships and gardens. Toile, detailed scenes or patterns often depicting pastoral or historical scenes. Very delicate and pastel dreamy look. Triangle, repeated triangular shapes forming a pattern. Quite ordinary as a tile, but seems to have a nice and mysterious or mythical look for the other objects. Turtle shell, patterns inspired by the intricate patterns found on turtle shells. Another animal pattern, looks great as tiles, looks great on roses, cool garden sculptures and weird ship turtle amalgamations. Tie and dye, patterns created through various dyeing techniques that create unique designs. Very awesome explosion of color for tile and also other subjects. Using just tie-dye gives mostly a similar look, but the gardens then have hanging tie-dyed clothes. Velvet burnout, patterns formed by creating a burnout effect on velvet fabric. Lovely dark colors and swirly flowers for tile, and the colors continued also for the other subjects. Waffle, repeating and textured patterns resembling the appearance of waffle grids. Obviously not looking like what it's supposed to, really literal, but funny and whimsical. I mean waffles as ship sails? That's so strange. Wavy grains, patterns imitating the undulating and textured lines of grains. I like the tiles, but the effect on all the other subject I like more, kind of so neat, yet chaotic at the same time. Wood grain, patterns mimicking the texture and lines of wood. Wavy wooden prettiness, more like a texture than a pattern, but looks great. Woodcut, patterns inspired by the carved and blocky appearance of woodcut prints. I really love the tiles with this. I guess I have a weakness for this kind of really intricate stuff, and all the other subjects look absolutely great too, just probably already featured before in my videos. X-ray, patterns simulating the transparency and imagery of X-ray scans. I really like the translucent look of the roses and ships. Tiles and gardens get kind of too many skeletons, but that's what X-rays usually are used for. Zebra print, patterns resembling the stripes of a zebra. Works well with tiles and roses, but not really with ships and gardens. A zebra in a garden is not what I had in mind. Zentangle, intricate and repetitive patterns often used in meditative drawing. My absolute favorite style, I guess. I like the tiles a lot. It's strange how all the other subjects have appeared as kind of black and white line drawings. Alright, those were the patterns I chose, and I hope you found some that you also liked and want to use yourself. Now let's just continue to wait for updates to the aesthetics. Personally, I would like to see something different already, because we have been looking at version 5 for so long already. I know there's plenty more things to still explore even there. So thank you for watching, consider subscribing, liking and commenting, and let's just continue prompting.